I did announce earlier, I joined Michael Moore on his podcast earlier today to talk about our latest Flint water cover-up story that now, 3 weeks after we broke it, has still not been covered by the Flint Journal, not been covered by the Detroit Free Press, not been covered by the Detroit News, not been covered by the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, et cetera, et cetera. It's been covered up by them. And that's what this is. They all know about it because I've sent it to them. I've spoken with editors. Every one of them know about this story. Everybody knows what the story was. We found that they erased their phones. Governor Snyder's top officials erased their phones right before the launch of a criminal investigation. We found that top officials had no messages on their phones for all of 2014 through October 2015. When Flint used the Flint River, we found that Snyder's environmental department officials dropped off their phones in the state IT department, i.e. wiped clean, meaning erased, shortly after Snyder held a press conference in Flint announcing Flint had toxic water. We found that Governor Snyder himself refused to hand over key documents to prosecutors for 3 years. So a whole lot of other things we found. If you haven't read the story, read the story. It is major. Aaron Brockovich said, and I quote, "This is the biggest cover-up you will ever read." Ben and I went to the Flint Journal in Flint. Here's what happened when we went to the Flint Journal. So we're ringing the doorbell for the Flint Journal. I'm going to speak with an editor or a manager here, or reporters. We wanted to make sure they knew about an important story.
Okay, what do you got?
We broke this a few weeks ago. I'm pretty sure the Flint Journal knows about it. We broke it in the Detroit Metro Times and the Intercept on Governor Rick Snyder's administration. Their phones were deleted right before the launch of a criminal investigation. I want to be clear about something. This is what you just saw is not just Flint Journal. This is the fucking United States media. The United Corporations of America, that's the media. Those are the gatekeepers allowing this to remain the United Corporations of America. Let's go through the list of things that Flint's hometown paper is ignoring. And by the way, his whole, what do you got? Pretending that he didn't hear about it. They knew about it. Trust me. Trust me, they know about it. I sent it to many editors there, and they knew about it. So not only is Flint's hometown paper, which most residents in Flint either actively read or see once in a blue moon, not only are they completely burying, it's not just ignoring, they're completely burying a major scandal, a cover-up of the citizens in Flint that they supposedly report on behalf of. They also have not covered it even after Congress issued a scathing statement against Governor Snyder right after our story came out. Even after the Congressional House Oversight Committee said, we're now investigating based on your story and what you found. Even after the last mayor of Flint, not the mayor from 20 years ago, the mayor from 2 years ago. 2 years ago. She, on camera, said the current Attorney General of Michigan, who charged Governor Snyder with a misdemeanor, is helping Snyder get away with murder. Any of these things on their own would be on the front page of any newspaper actually interested in corruption, actually interested in environmental genocide of the community they report in, actually interested in a criminal cover-up that led to an untold number of people dying. This isn't like, some basic journalistic disagreement where I don't know, some young dreamer, Cub Scout reporter that just started comes out or pitches the Rolling Stone on a story and they think it's, amazing. And Rolling Stone tells them, oh, we're going to pass. This is not that. This is ironclad, airtight. Nobody has disputed our reporting, our facts of destruction of evidence, tampering with evidence, potentially obstruction of justice, Congress responding to it, the last mayor saying the attorney general is basically in on the cover-up. And this Flint Journal, by the way, owned by Booth Newspapers, Booth Newspaper is a subsidiary of Advance Media. Advance Media, you following? Flint Journal, owned by Booth Newspapers, which is a subsidiary of Advance Publications or Advance Media. Advance Media, the 221st largest corporation in America. 221st. So not top 100. Pretty big company. This big corporation not wanting to rock the boat. Not wanting to report on the biggest government cover-up in the 21st century. Let me repeat. The biggest government cover-up in the 21st century, frankly, I would put it above Watergate. If Watergate didn't have a president involved, nobody would have blinked. It would have just been some knuckleheads at the Watergate office. Nobody died that I know of. This was a cover-up. Governor, health department, environmental department, county officials in Flint. It appears the attorney general's office in Michigan. Congress responds to it. But the Flint Journal, silence. That was Saturday, by the way. Today is Thursday. We handed them the packet. It had literally bullet points. Bullet points. Easy to digest of what we found. It had the story of Congress responding and their statement. It had the tweets on there from Rashida Tlaib, Ro Khanna, Susan Sarandon, Erin Brockovich, actor Mark Ruffalo, Marianne Williamson. That guy, he's the head of the Flint Journal. He's the top editor. Comes out, what do you got? When I go down the list of what we got, you know what he says? Does he ask any questions about it? Does he say, oh, yeah, we read this. We've been doing some follow-up reporting on it. We're working on a story about it. So, oh, is this your number? Is this the best number to reach you at? Yeah, still waiting 5 days later. The people of Flint still waiting. You know what's outrageous? You know what's outrageous? I interviewed a lot of residents there. I met with a woman, Ariana Hawk. She's a Flint mother. Her son, his name is Sincere, was, if you remember Time magazine in 2016, there was an image of a young black boy on the cover of Time magazine with body rashes from that water. That was her son. And before we started the interview, she was furious. Why was she furious? Because she was hearing for the first time from me about this cover-up that we found. She said, I don't understand. How come I didn't hear about this? Nobody I know has heard about this here. Because your media is a fucking corrupt enterprise. And it's not just the Flint Journal. It's the Detroit Free Press. It's the Detroit News. It's the New York Times, the Washington Post, Rachel Maddow, MSNBC. I have sent this to Rachel Maddow's executive producer 4 times. He got it. I was direct messaging in Twitter, the private message. I direct messaged with a New York Times editor. She said, great story here. I said, thanks. Does the New York Times plan on doing 3 paragraphs on it to alert the country? Hey, the world, because the world reads the New York Times, didn't respond. You want to talk about, they're running as a Democrat. Oh, fraud, sellouts. The reason we have the corrupt country that we have is because we have a corrupt media that literally is in bed with the corrupt corporations and the corrupt criminal enterprise that is government. There's nothing left to say The Flint Journal, the Detroit Free Press, the New York Times, who, by the way, years ago tried to steal a story that I brought to them. Jen and I brought to them. They said, oh, no, we have reporters, so we would do it on our own, but thanks for the tip. I said, it's not a fucking tip. I want to do it with you. Then my main source in Flint calls me. Hey, I just got a call from the New York Times, a reporter asking us about, government officials going into people's homes, running people's water before testing for lead and copper. And the source told them, yeah, you should call Jordan. That's his story. They knew it was my story. And instead of doing it with me, they tried to steal it. And if they were going to steal it, trust me, if they ended up publishing it, which they didn't, it would have been severely watered down to the point where it wasn't even what actually happened. What possible, plausible, credible, rational reason could Flint's hometown paper have for not informing Flint residents? And by the way, the people who have moved out of Flint, but were there during the water crisis, of a cover-up. I mean, what do you call this?